Hey there, I'm Felicia with Compass Land USA, your go-to resource for great deals on rural and vacant land. So today we're going to go over a bunch of your Arizona land buying questions. One of my team members pointed out to me that there are a lot of really great questions that come in through the comments on our YouTube videos, and it would be a great idea for me to do Q&A video series answering the questions. She's clearly much smarter with this stuff than I am, so I'm lucky to have her, and I'm taking her advice, and we're going to do just that. So if you have questions for us about one of our videos, make sure you leave a comment. I do want to keep this Q&A series going. So first up, a question from Ryan: artifact laws on private property in Arizona. So Ryan, I will admit, this is something I didn't really know much about. I had to do a lot of digging and researching to get an answer here. And to be honest with you, I'm not entirely satisfied with what I've found. So it seems like you're able to keep or sell artifacts found on your private property, anything found on state or federal lands, and there are a lot of restrictions against collecting and removing artifacts. The Archaeological Resources Protection Act from 1979 forbids any artifact from being disturbed or removed. So that's on state and federal lands. If you're on those lands and you think you found something, you do need to contact the public agency that owns that land and let them know of the artifact location. If you think you've found burials or human remains on your Arizona property, you do need to contact the Arizona State Museum Burial Coordinator for remains to be transferred. Arizona's State Historic Preservation Office will help private landowners identify, evaluate, and protect any artifacts. They will also give technical assistance to owners of historic properties, identify and evaluate historic structures and sites, give assistance to property owners seeking tax credits and incentives. And if you want to learn more about that, you can contact the State Historic Preservation Office. And I have the tab open here. So this is their website. I'll make sure to put the link for this in the description of this video for you. So that was question number one. So what I've gotten from all this is, if you are on your own private land, artifact collection seems to be okay unless it contains burial grounds or remains. Again, I'm not totally confident with this information, so if you're really keen on digging around on your property, Ryan, I would contact the Historic Preservation Office and see what they have to say. Okay, next question. Desert Denizen left this comment. Does Arizona require a preliminary title report or equivalent? A property disclosure report which states known or should be known conditions that could potentially affect the use of the property. This would be items or conditions not readily apparent. I'm from California, where nobody complains about too little paperwork. Okay, don't we know that about California, right? Lots of paperwork going on there. So in Arizona, they do have something called a vacant land or lot seller's property disclosure statement. It's referred to as an SPDS, and it looks kind of like this. So whenever you're buying or selling land through a realtor in Arizona, you need to use this document. It's not required outside of that, so it's required only for realtor transactions. The SPDS requires you as the seller to disclose any material facts about the property, regardless of whether or not you were asked for it. You're supposed to complete it as fully and truthfully as possible. It has 9 main sections, and we can see them kind of listed out here. So we have ownership and property, access, use, utilities, water, sewer waste and water treatment, environmental information, miscellaneous, and additional explanations. So looking through it, you can see a lot of this information is of good value to the buyer. Things like zoning, parcel number, any of the land lease, like CCRs, HOAs, POAs, like known title issues, legal access, all that stuff is really good stuff that the buyer needs to know and the seller should disclose. These areas maybe underneath aren't as important as they would be with houses. Things like hazardous waste materials, like that's, or paint, like that's all mostly relating to houses, but it's there nonetheless. Often some sections will be left blank for land transactions as well, because a lot of land sellers won't have that info or be able to verify it, and that's okay. That's why you're just supposed to fill it out as truthfully as possible. Yeah, especially that environmental information. It's not really totally relevant here. So that's the SPDS. If you're not buying land through a realtor, don't worry, because you can still get this information directly from the land seller. They should have all of this for you. And for example, one of our listings on my own website, compasslandusa.com, so I have one open, we try to be as transparent as possible and include a lot of that SPDS listing, our information in our listings. So if you scroll down on any of our listings, the formatting is all the same, so they follow the same layout. If you scroll down to the section called Property Details, under the pricing, you'll see everything listed out here. So you can see we make sure there are no title issues, no debts owed on the property. We have the parcel number, address, legal description, zoning, utility information. We say if there's an HOA, access, it's all in there for you. We also include the county phone numbers up here. So you can ask them any questions that you might have about the property or verify any of the details that we have listed here. There's another important document actually to mention here. It's called an affidavit of property value. This is required for every transaction, regardless of whether or not you go through a realtor. This document verifies the monetary exchange of the property, sale date, and other info. So it's required by the Arizona Department of Revenue, and you can see the current form on their website. I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. So Desertesian, I hope that answers your question. Thankfully, there isn't too much paperwork required for land transactions in Arizona. Okay, so the next comment, Only Real Tink said, another thing I suggest finding out is how far to necessary amenities like groceries, gasoline, etc. Too many people are buying land near little towns that are one-road towns. They do not have grocery stores, and you'll need to travel 18 to 20 miles to get there. Even then, like right now, Walmart 14 miles from me is sold out of everything. I suggest people go look at these lands before purchasing. Also, mesquite trees aren't shade trees, but many sellers of these properties are listing them as such. Okay, that was a mouthful. So Tink, that is some great advice. For our property tour videos, we do make them for almost every single property that we have in our inventory. You'll notice that we do a presentation of sorts and share some of that information about the area. Typically in those images, you'll get information on the closest city or town, what amenities and resources they can offer you. And this is a great resource for you to use to understand what's in the area nearby surrounding that property that's for sale. We do share this on each website listing as well. So we have one open, and let's just keep going with that. So if you scroll back up to pictures, and you have to go all the way past all the property pictures. Okay, so you'll see we do share the pictures from that presentation here, so you can see kind of what's around and discover that listing, what's nearby, grocery stores, gas stations, biggest cities, weather, you know, where the property is with relation to bigger cities and towns nearby. So we do try to give as much valuable information as possible about the property. If you wanted to, you could also use the map. And we have a map on every listing on our website. It has the exact property location. So it's here. You can click to view larger map. And this will open it up in Google Maps. Then you can manipulate it a bit more and see where it's at or where the property is at. And a really cool trick for Google Maps is that you can measure the distance to nearby towns and cities. So you can also use it to search for nearby amenities. So let's say you're wondering, I'll zoom out one. Let's say you're wondering how far this property is to that highway, the Arizona Veterans Highway. You right click and do measure distance, and you can just click any spot and it'll give you exactly how far it is. So that's a really cool trick for measuring distance. You can also see what's nearby the property. So if you wanted to do, let's just say grocery stores. Okay, on the left-hand side here, it's going to list out all of the grocery stores nearby. You can do this for any amenity, parks, gas stations, like anything that's kicking around nearby the property. If you zoom out, the map will adjust so you can see how far you'd have to go, let's say for a Whole Foods, or you know what's kicking around in Prescott Valley, which is over here. Okay, so really helpful, useful feature within Google Maps. So I hope you guys enjoyed that Arizona Q&A session number 1. I thought that was kind of fun, and hopefully Ryan, Desert Denizen, and Tink catch this video to see their questions get answered. If you have any questions, as always, leave a comment, which means something more now that we have these Q&A series going. Give us a like and click the subscribe button so that you're the first to know when a new property tour or land blog video comes out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.